Hi, I'm Rob from Ambition to Achieve. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm joined by David from Rent My Roof, and he's going to take us on a deep dive into his business journey. Hi David, how are you?
I'm all right, how are you doing? Thanks for the invite for coming today.
Nice to see you. So can you tell us a little bit about Rent My Roof then, and the business and how it all works?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, it is what I always say, it is what it says on the tin. So we're able to put, it's Rent My Roof, so it works for farming, a massive client of ours, and also large commercial roof spaces. And the concept is we can put solar panels on the roof, large roof spaces, and a private investor, our funders, would pay for that to be installed. So it's not actually costing the farmer or the business anything. And basically the investor puts that on, and then they sell back to the tenants or the farmer that energy is being produced. And it's all calculated, and basically you're looking as a ballpark figure around 15 pence per kilowatt that person would pay for that. So that's how it works in effect.
Quite interesting, isn't it? So in terms of that idea then, where did that idea come from? And did you have that moment where, that kind of defining moment in your entrepreneurial journey where you thought, right, I'm going to make this happen because it's a good idea?
In all honesty, it's not reinventing the wheel. So I won't sit here today and say I thought this genius idea. It's massive in America. It's also massive in the likes of Australia and places like that, because ultimately, if you look at stocks and shares and the volatility markets and stuff like that, what this is for an investor, it's a long-term private investment. So it's a lot very safe, because as long as there's daylight, not sunlight, daylight, then, because everyone thinks, a misconception, everyone thinks it's got,
you have to have sunny days all the time, isn't it?
Daylight.
Right,
As long as there's daylight, then obviously that's producing. And then, so basically, as long as there's daylight, they're going to get some money back, and that's how it works. But they obviously do calculations, look at weather forecasts and everything else. It's a lot of money. So, it's all like FCA regulated and stuff like that. Okay. But it's a low risk for the fund, and that's why they do it.
That's interesting, that misconception. I mean, that's probably, I've come into this interview today really with yourself not understanding a lot about that kind of solar energy. I was always under the impression that it worked best on sunny days like today, but it works all year round and you only have to have daylight.
Yeah, it does. Don't get me wrong, a sunny day is going to work a lot better, of course. Yeah. Absolutely. That's your prime day. Summer, it's going to work at its optimum. The other thing is, though, sometimes, again, a misconception is if it's too hot, they don't work as effective, but they have them in the desert. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So in that case, they have them in Australia, where it's hot all the time. So, but no, obviously, the brighter it is, obviously the more exposure, it's going to work better, isn't it? But people do think, it's raining today, my panels aren't working. No, they work. The thing you need to bear in mind is it's about maintenance. And this is where, by going through the Rent the Roof option, well, it's in the investor's own interest for that to work at its optimum. So all the maintenance is covered, including obviously the cleaning of it. And if the panel went down, they know before the tenant or the landlord knew. So they're out and maintaining it and stuff like that. So that's another advantage of it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say about, the American economy and it being popular. I think I read an article probably a couple of months ago where they work on a model that when they build multi-stories, they put solar panels on the roof, or the roof is made from solar panels, and they were trying to sell that idea to the British government or the UK government.
So this is what, if you look at it at the moment, it's a big thing of man and frustration when I see it. So obviously we said there's not much, everyone's struggling for budgets and stuff like that. Where we're going to find, well, I've just seen recently it said about if there may be legislation where there might be another £5 billion worth of tax cuts. But there's only so much, I don't want to get into a political thing, there's my views of my own, but there's only so much you can cut back. It's already been cut as much as it is. So surely it's a no-brainer that if private investment would go into such like car parks for hospitals, for public buildings, then in effect that straight away is going to release budgets for the energy budgets, which would be massive for some of these buildings. So that's going to free up money, and it's going to generate them an income. So that's the way I see it, and I don't know why we're not doing it. And a lot of people, when you say that to them, say, yeah, it just makes so much more sense, especially the NHS and stuff like that, where budget constraints are.
Yeah. So if, say for example then, we'll take our local hospital as an example, if they were to build a multi-storey out the back and they were to cover the roof with solar panels, would they harvest that energy for the hospital use and then sell what they don't use, or sell 100% of what they harvest? How would the model work for a big organisation like that?
Okay, so good question. So obviously the private investors will do this panels. You will never use 100% of the energy. Well, like, you won't reduce the bill by 100%. You won't get a net zero or zero bill, but you're normally looking on average about 30%. That's gonna use, so I don't know, saying they use X amount, that's going to save about 30 to 40%, and then they're going to buy that energy that's being produced at that fraction of the cost. So they're going to save 30 to 40% of the energy costs at a much lower rate than they're already paying. But I mean, if you look at today's markets, on average about 25p. So if you look, 15, and keep using this magic figure, 15, it could be less, could be more. It depends on obviously the size of the project. But a ballpark figure is 15p. Well, that's 10 pence per kilowatt. You think of the usages, astronomical, and it's future proofing it as well, because you've got two options, two models. You can fix it, so that'd be 15 pence for the duration, and it's a bit similar to like a mortgage. So, and they used to do, it's got to be 25 years, but you can do it as little as 15 now. Obviously you have to have that payback time as well, don't you, for them to get the money, and then it's a return of investment.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when they, I know we're talking there about commercial and big businesses, but when they were selling it to residential, is that a slightly different model where kind of the bite point there was that they could sell some of it back to the grid?
Yeah.
Is that a different model, is it?
Totally
with residential?
different. Yeah, and it's quite funny really, because I've picked my own fault really, because it could bent my roof. I do get a lot of residential inquiries,
right?
But it's not right fit. It costs more to put on, and it take longer to get back than it's. Yeah, maybe it might work on a large development in the future, because all houses do need, as if from 2027, all of them have to have solar panels on new builds. Right. So it might work for the developer. But initially, just to stick a small unit on there wouldn't work. But I sometimes have to tell them the bad news. Actually, the sweet spot is large commercial roof spaces, large car parks.
Get lots on there.
Lots on there in volume. It's going to generate lots, and that means and normally, because it's a large building, it's going to use a lot, and then obviously then it's going to everyone's a winner then.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, I'm hoping today I'm going to learn a bit about this, because it's an area where I haven't got any knowledge in it really. So obviously starting any business is a leap into that unknown, isn't it? And what would you say was the biggest challenges for you in the early days? Courage
and confidence, I'd say, was the two biggest challenges for me. And it's sort of like, it's funny how everything works out. It was sort of a decision that was taken out of my hands. So like I said, I come from a utility background, interested in renewables, and I was sort of helping businesses, not through PPA, just say working with funders and suppliers and saying, like, listen, would be open to having getting a lot of grant funding, actually, working with Business Wales at the time, which was brilliant. So we helped some businesses in North Wales to access funding through a grant, and then get that installed on the roof. And then just through networking and stuff, someone said, Dave, have you ever looked at the PPA solution? I was like, no, what's a PPA? And they said it was like a power purchase agreement, really big in America, but it doesn't seem to have hit home here in the UK at the minute. I'm like, okay. And then and when they explained the concept, I said, okay, so you're telling me someone's going to put solar panels on my large business or my farm, and I don't have to pay for it, but I'm actually going to benefit from lower energy costs. What's the catch type of thing? And then there's like, well, there's no catch. We're getting our money, you're saving money, everyone's a winner. So obviously I get paid by a small percentage from the funder, and depending, I can get a small percentage from the installer as well. So that's how I make my money. But it is a really interesting concept. Why is no one doing this? And it's just sometimes things sound too good to be true. And it's also about trust as well. There's some horror stories, in all fairness, where they've promised them something's had to put into the roof, and they've not So that's not my problem. It's about using reputable suppliers and reputable funders. That's key in any business as well, because it's good news travels fast and bad news. I'm all about reputation. Do a good job for someone, and then go and serve them, and then that way they'll stay with you for longer, and they're going to tell everyone about you. I just don't understand this concept of not doing that, and not standing by a customer and treating the customers.
Quick wins mindset as well, isn't it? Especially if you've got like a national provider who will potentially send somebody, for example, to North Wales.
Yeah.
They haven't got an office anywhere in sight, so it's a quick win, and then when things go wrong, they know it to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, it's the traditional, what you're saying there's a traditional business model, isn't it? Is making sure that you keep the customer happy and
100%.
build that relationship.
I am a bit of a people pleaser, to be fair, so that's but yeah, and also I just want to be able to walk around with my head held high as well. And people buy off people, don't they? I think that's
definitely,
the key.
yeah, definitely, and they buy into the story as well, isn't it? Hence why you agreed to come today, because it's good to get your story across there, and hopefully that links with our viewers and they get a better understanding of that and get to know you locally, you know. So with that idea then and those challenges, overcoming those challenges in the early days, would you say there was a moment where you realised that it was actually going to work and you could see the road ahead?
It's a blind faith, isn't it? And like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't ever set a company up before. I was like, right, okay. And I got told in my previous employment, you've got 2 weeks notice. I was like, wow, I've got a family of two boys below the age of 6, and my wife's just told me that she's expecting our 3rd child. So you can imagine the stress. Oh, it was through the roof, a little pun intended. And literally, I said, I'm going to have to do something. I said, right. And it was like that fight or flight moment. I jumped on company's house. I already had the idea in my head, and I was going to propose it to the person I was working with. And I was like, no, that's it. I'm going to watch them. So I literally just rent my roof. It's just like, just started doing it. It might just, and I think that's the big key. It's just to take action. Like I say, I felt a little bit forced to do it. All of a sudden, I was thinking I should do it. I'm going to get around to doing it, but all of a sudden, no, I need to do it now, and that's what happened. And it was fortunate because I'd already had the relationships with the suppliers, so I knew I could trust. And I'd built relationships with funders, or heard about the funders. But again, one of the funders I work with do stuff for the NHS, and they've done stuff for a massive brewery. I don't think I'm allowed to say which brewery it is. Probably an NDA there, so I won't say that. But yeah, it's a really reputable. It's a supply chain.
And would you say, obviously, we hear this term online, don't we, when we look for business motivation stuff, and people say, you find your purpose in your passion, or you find your purpose in your pain. Obviously, would you say that this industry is one of your passions and you found your purpose within that?
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. I just don't... Obviously, I've got a young family, so from an environmental side of things, I do see the bigger picture. So it was good for that. I also like helping people. And it was a case of... I could obviously see all the facts and figures. Putting solar on the roof does give you a cheaper energy cost. That's the fact. Now the return on investment is different on obviously the amount you put on. But even a house you're looking about, it's only it used to be about 7 or 8 years, didn't it? Yeah. Some of the times now, because of the type of technology, it can be as little as 4 to 5, can't it?
Yeah.
But on a large roof, literally it can be as much. It's like, I've seen some quotes where we've done where it's like, it's paid for itself within like 2 years. It's a no-brainer.
Obviously the volume, I suppose, helps. The bigger say it's a factory or
absolutely,
a multi-story, for example. So the more you can get on there, the quicker the return comes back for those investors, I suppose, isn't it?
It does, but no. It's got to be usage, because the key is, because you might have a warehouse, it's just got lights in there, so it's no good sticking a load of solar panels on there, because who's buying it back? Do you know what I mean? You could sell it to the grid, but you wouldn't get as much on the grid as you would to someone buying it at 15 pence. So it's got the sweet spot is large roof, high usage, and then everyone's a winner then.
Right, okay. So almost like would it work well in a factory that's, say it's a food factory where they've got loads of machinery in there and different equipment that's using lots of energy?
Yeah.
Would that kind of concept work there?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, a lot of we got a lot of plant running, etc. That'd be good.
Okay.
Also, and saying that though, what we can do, and we proved, if it's a large portfolio though, so like a lot of pubs, for example, or hotel chains. So literally, that's the way they're doing it. Convenience stores would be a good one as well. A chain of convenience stores, because they're high usage. I know they're a little bit smaller.
With chillers and stuff like that,
yeah,
and fridges and freezers. Yeah. Interesting,
yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I suppose in the hotel, we won't name any names, obviously, but you know, the big chains, you've obviously got a lot going on there, and you've got the usage in the rooms, the kitchens, the housekeeping.
Absolutely.
So there's a fair bit going on there. So that brings us nicely on to misconceptions in the industry then. What would you say are the biggest misconceptions that people have about this industry, about renting out their roof for solar?
I think one of them is that they think, well, if it's because of the weather, they think obviously not going to benefit because we don't get enough sunny days, but we've just seen recently the amount of heat waves, etc. that's happening. I think we're due one this week. There's that. I don't think it's a misconception. I think it's more of a, sometimes maybe the commitment. So they think my lease is only 5 years or 6 years in this building. However, I've got to sign in for 25 years. Well, not really, because First of all, your lease might be for 5 years, but if you're benefiting for cheaper energy costs, you're probably going to renew your lease, aren't you? Because you're in a building that's more energy efficient.
For you.
And if not, the landlord, well, actually, okay, I've got an asset on my roof now, so if this company did want to move out, I'm sure there'll be a lot of companies that want to come in. So it can be handed over in that sense.
Isn't it?
And as a backup from the funder's point of view, it's depending on the funder, but normally they'd say, well, actually, okay, if there's a space in time where X is moving out and B is moving in, because it is on there when we get, because as a contingency, a short-term contingency, then we can still sell back to the grid and get a little bit for something. So at least it's doing something, ticking over. Might take a bit slightly to get our money back, but as soon as someone moves in. But the general rule of thumb, you've got your high usage, that's who's going to benefit. Usage should come down. You're not going to move anywhere because you've just increased your profitability, haven't you?
Yeah. So would you say then it's about changing mindsets and educating possibly for people, for these business owners to understand the benefit really?
Yes, especially at the minute where businesses, as we've seen the way we're going, there's a lot of ESG pressures as well. So there's years to be green and renewable, or to be demonstrating you're ethical and then in the supply chain. So that's a quick win as well. And also from a branding point of view, you can say, listen, we are doing this and we've got green energy, etc. So there's that side of things. But I think it's hard because these people out there, I think this is all well being good. I think it's good to be educated, do your research, look at the pros and cons. Because one of the, if you can afford it, there's nothing wrong with you buying it outright and doing it yourself. You know what I mean? So
it's an investment, isn't it?
It's an investment. Yeah, this is an opportunity if you don't want to pay the capital outlay. So I always do that as well. So literally, I'll give them the free options. So what your free options are? These are the proposals. If you work with us, you can have reputable installers for a start. So that's key, and then you can fund it yourself. And then basically this is what you're going to get back. This is your return investment. However, any maintenance, anything like that, obviously the guarantees covered from us, but cleaning and all that, that's down to yourself to make sure it's done. Or you can capex it, so you can obviously do some asset finance. So you can take a loan against the asset and do it that way for yourself. You still own it, or you can go down the PPA route, and at the end of the 25 years, you can buy it for £1. So it's, you know what I mean. So it'd be yours at the end of it, but in the meantime, you can benefit. But we'll do all the looking after and the maintenance of it.
Interesting, loads of learning for me here today. Getting to understand it, because before the interview, it's somewhere that, or an industry I haven't really spoken about. So yeah, it's really interesting. So we're going to talk about next your whole entrepreneurial journey. So looking back, how long have you been doing this business for now? How many years are we talking?
For Rent My Roof?
Yeah.
It's in its infancy, so we're literally February last year.
Right, okay, so about 18 months?
Yeah, it's that. Just less than that, isn't it? Yeah.
So looking back then over that sort of 18 months, what would you say has been your proudest moment in the journey so far?
The proudest moment was getting started, and then literally taking the courage and doing it, getting set up, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing, getting the website up and running, and without spending a lot of money on Facebook ads and on SEO or anything like that. Literally the amount of leads we get through organically, the branding and the relationships as well, and then obviously looking at the people that we can help. I think that's key. Of being able to help people that aren't in a position to potentially fund their own solar but want to do solar, it's having that solution for them. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and also we were talking about proving concept, weren't we, earlier on? Would you say now that you've got some good case studies of big clients that you've helped that you can show to potential new clients of, right, this is what we did in, let's say, for example, Chester. This is how it works. Take a look at that. Yeah,
there's loads of case studies there that we can do. Yeah. So, by all means, we can come and do diligence and stuff like that. So that's, massively. Especially with, I think that's the key to get the message out there. So people sometimes think, well, you've only been going for just over 12 months. Yeah, that's true. However, the funders I've been working with have been going for years and years and years, and the suppliers as well. One of my key suppliers, or installers should I say, is literally been doing solar since the day dot. So they're like one of the top 10% in the country. And there's not many things like that. It's all about, if you're going to run a successful business, because if they let me down, then I'm letting the customer down, and that's going to affect my business. So it's making you, again, I keep emphasising this, but it's about making sure reputable suppliers,
building your network correctly.
You've got, well, what do you say? Your net worth is your network, or your network is your net worth.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, you've proven a point there really in the business that, you know, having people like yourself that are in the top 10%, did you say, in the UK? Having those that work with you will ensure then that you can still be that strong local voice, and 100%. That you're proud to walk the streets of where you live and those businesses that you've supported.
You've got to believe in what the products and everything. I think that's key. It's that certainty, and I know that if my guys do a job, that it's going to be bang on. And if listen, not everything is always plain sailing, but it's knowing, something didn't work, you're going to go back, and it's all about trust, especially when it's someone's business or someone's farm. That's key, isn't it? Yeah. It's the same with the funders. We need to make sure we're using funders that are going to be around that length of time. We're using funders that are really like regulated and stuff. It's not a case of and telling someone what they want to hear as well. And then all of a sudden, we've agreed this rate, and then all of a sudden it's gone up and stuff like that. No, this is so important for stuff like this. And the legality, it's all FCA regulated as well, so it needs to be, because that's an investment, it's private pension funds and stuff like that, so it's a big animal. I
mean, it's financial conduct, isn't it? It covers everything, the FCA, so that brings a big clout to it, doesn't it? And that kind of safety network. So we've spoken about the positives, we've spoken a bit about the negatives. Next we're going to look at kind of entrepreneurial mistakes. Was there a mistake that you made that taught you a really important lesson over the last sort of 18 months?
I underestimated startup costs a little bit, and my website could have been better, I thought, initially, but saying that, I think I'm being a bit harsh on myself. I think there's a saying, messy action better than no action. I think that's one of the key things to say, because you can sit back on the side and think, right, I need to and read all the books and do it, and on my website's not quite right, and not do anything, and before you know it, the opportunity's passed. So it's a case of really just do it and build as you go along, and we're not going to be perfect, but getting it out there and making a start. So maybe biggest regret probably not starting sooner and waiting for the validation of others. As I mentioned offline before, I was like, I had this concept prior to it, and it's took me to literally give 2 weeks notice before starting it, where literally it could, instead of asking for approvals, and they're going, no, don't, and try and put, no, if you believe in it, and it does, I do, you can tell by the passion I'm talking, I do believe in it 100%, then just go and do it. That's not saying quit your job, by the way. We talked about that offline as well.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we? We won't name any names again, but quitting today or tomorrow isn't. You like you've said, David, you know, you've got to assess your own situation. So let's say, for example, somebody's watching this video and they're 17 years of age, they've got no kids, they've got no kind of financial burden, they're still living at home with their parents, then I would say go for it.
I would say crack on.
You know, but the older you get, other things happen in your life and things need paying for. So yeah, we spoke about it earlier on, didn't we? Not having that mentality of just quit tomorrow. But you've got to take that. It depends
on your circumstances.
Well.
I wasn't. I'm saying if you want to, that's fine. But I'm also saying that I wouldn't personally. But yes, it's. Some say, well, if you don't, but no, I just think it all depends. What Jim Rohn said, like, listen, work on your 9 to 5, but then between 5 and 9, work on your fortune.
I think that's a good statement to leave it, isn't it? Really, because you know, you do have time. A lot of people that I speak to about ambition and entrepreneurship and doing something about it, a lot is a misconception. We've spoken about that, haven't we? A lot of misconception that people think, oh, I haven't got the time because I work Monday to Friday 9 to 5. But when you actually look at it, you have got time in the evenings and you have got time at the weekend to do something. And like you said earlier on, sometimes it's just taking those small steps. Yeah. And they build and grow, don't they? Yeah. And you know, that's a good piece of advice, I think, to give to the viewers.
But it's interesting. So basically, I've got another business, but they say, like, the amount of people, the objection is, I've not got enough time. And then you go, all right, okay, yeah, I totally get it. I said, and then you'll just make a conversation. Have you watched Netflix? They went, oh yeah, season 3, 4, 5, and 6 on such. She said, but you didn't have any time. I said, I've got time for Netflix. Yeah. Exactly.
It's about almost like, you know, using the term self-assessment, isn't it? So assessing where you are in life, what do you want, and you know, when you do that process, you will often find, oh, I just spent 2 hours there watching Netflix, or you know, I spent 2 hours there. I don't know, going and buying a load of clothes in,
it's bad, isn't it?
You know, the shopping arena or whatever. So you find, if you do that self-assessment, you will find the time. And we spoke about passion, didn't we? If you've got a passion for something and you want to do it, then you will find that energy to do it.
Yeah, it's literally, and no pun intended, it's just ambition. How ambitious you are as a person. There's people that want to do it. There's people that actually take the action to do it. So yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Really, the bottom line of it. So that brings us nicely on to our last question.
Okay,
that went really quickly, didn't it? So the last one then. If you could go back to the day that you started Rent My Roof, what advice would you give to your kind of younger self? I know you're only 18 months in that journey.
So it should be that hard, really, should it? But I think there's going to be a lot of lessons to learn on the way. So in that sense, I would have definitely done myself. I love my website, by the way. So Becky designed my new website. Thank you. She's brilliant. If you give a bit of a plug there, because she honestly. But yeah, it was like my website. I was just looked a bit clunky, and it was a bit grey and white, and it didn't look appealing. So yeah, it's just probably not. Well, I would have done my website a bit better, but now it's bang on. And like I said, it's a difficult one because I'd been building up I already had the relationships there, so it was quite easy to switch it. But probably there'll be mistakes I'll make on the way now, and it'll be a lot easier. I'll probably be able to answer that question the next 5 years. In 5 years' time, I'll have a lot more.
So is that you inviting yourself back then?
Absolutely,
in a few years' time, we'll sit down again and see where you are. I mean, when we talk then about website, there was a question that did crop into my mind, and I'm going to slip that one in. A lot of people ask me about like platforms, social media, YouTube, websites. What's your experience in terms of where have you had the most positive results and the most negative results in terms of using platforms, do you think, from a business perspective?
I've only really used Facebook at the moment, and it's probably an opportunity, and it's only I think TikTok's a big one at the minute, and you need to get out there, and if you're going to for reach and stuff.
Especially the younger generation, I think that's where they are, aren't they, on TikTok?
Yeah, so I think maybe that big question, I'd probably do a bit more social now, but because I'd have to outsource it and get a social media company, something to maybe push the TikTok reels and stuff like that. Yeah, could definitely get out there. I think that's the way. I think TikTok's the way at the minute. We talked about Facebook before, didn't we? And the constraints of it, and the algorithm and stuff like that. Because they are pushing for Facebook ads, aren't they? Really, so I think that's why they do it. So then you encourage you to spend. But encouraging, I've not spent a penny on Facebook ads.
So and quite a lot good of organic reach then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we're not a channel really that teaches social media, but I always like to ask that question of the entrepreneurs to understand what platforms use, because we use them all with Ambition to Achieve. Some work, some don't. I won't go into the details of it, but it's just interesting to understand your kind of perspective on social media and digital content and where you find it works for you and the business. It's all solely been organic and through word of mouth at the minute, so that's a massive opportunity for us to grow. And I think, and then again, because of the installers and the funders, and when, especially a farmer, I mean, you help a farmer save some money, and I don't believe in sticking solar panels on the farm, good farmland. But if all these farmers have got large roof spaces, if you could utilise that for them. And one of the things that hasn't been mentioned actually is, and it obviously does bring up the price, but they don't. That PVC's got to stay on the roof for the duration of the term. So it's in our interest, or the funders' interest, for that roof to be sufficient. So then basically, if they wanted to, the roof they can incorporate it in the package, so they get a new roof. Okay.
With a solar to sit on top. Obviously, that's what is going to bump up because it's a bit like a mortgage, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that is an option. But if you can help a farmer save money and not have to finger, then they're going to tell everyone about it, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a big network, isn't it? Farmers and they'll always speak about good relationships. So you've spoken about that on sort of this video and offline earlier on as well. So for you, the agricultural sector is probably a win-win.
They're getting battered, aren't they? It's so wrong. They're getting battered for everything, and they work so hard as well. It's like I literally have got the utmost respect for him. So I get frustrated because they're the lifeblood of the country. Like I say, no farming, no food. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a strong term, isn't it? But it's true.
Oh, absolutely.
And
scary.
they've been through quite a difficult few years, haven't they? But we're not going to get
political
on this channel.
We're not,
because we'll be here all afternoon. So that brings our conversation to an end then. Amazing to learn a bit more about your business and to understand a bit more about solar. And hopefully you'd like to come back in a few years and we can sit down again and see you sort of maybe closer to your 5 year mark.
I might dress a bit better next time, I didn't realise I was a bit underdressed. I didn't know what the concept was.
It's okay. So thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're working on an ambition at the moment, please do pop it in the comments. We do take the time to read through them, and I do get back to you all. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next week.